So you guys may remember back in March, I did a video on my current thoughts on the 15 current best-selling men's designer fragrances. And this video, pretty self-explanatory. I went on FragranceNet and FragranceX. I sorted by the most popular or the best-selling. I went through starting at the top, and I gave you guys my thoughts on each of those fragrances here in 2020, because a lot of these bestsellers aren't new releases. They've been out for quite a while now. So it's kind of a cool way for me to give you my thoughts on these scents and tell you if they're still relevant and worth picking up here in 2020 when we've had at this point thousands of new fragrance releases. And you guys seem to like that video, and so I'm going to be doing a part 2. Now, you will notice here, obviously, there's going to be some fragrances missing. Giorgio Armani, Acqua di Gio, the original, 1 Million, the original, right? Fragrances like those, Paco Rabanne Invictus, those are not going to be in this video. They're going to be in the first video. So before I get a ton of comments asking where, those super bestsellers are, I already covered those. So we're just be continuing on from where I left off in the last video. And again, this isn't some super official nitty gritty list. I don't have any insider information. I literally just went on FragranceNet and sorted by best selling, put these together in the order that they are listed, and now I'm going to share my thoughts on all of these. So of course, with that being said, I will provide links to all these down below in the description to FragranceNet or FragranceX, whichever one has them in stock, so you guys can pick them up and check them out if you want to. We do have a lot of ground here to cover, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. First up, we have a fragrance from master perfumer Francis Kurkdjian. You guys probably know what this one's going to be. This is the original Le Male by Jean Paul Gaultier, an iconic bottle and an iconic fragrance as well. Chances are every single one of you out there have smelled this fragrance somewhere. Even if you didn't mean to, you probably walked past someone who was wearing this fragrance sometime in your life. It's an incredibly popular scent. It's a bestseller for a reason. A nice lavender opening. It's fresh and clean with a little bit of a powdery undertone. It's a great scent. It's popular for a reason. It just smells so satisfying. And from this, we've spawned a number of other flankers, such as something like Ultra Male, which is one of my personal favorites. What do I think about the original Le Male now? Do I think it's still worth picking up? I do think the fragrance smells great, and I do have a BPI formulation bottle here, which is a older formulation before they switched over. There's talk about reformulation and stuff all the time. Do I think this is still worth picking up? Honestly, I think your best bet is to explore some of the new flankers. The new Le Parfum just came out. Ultra Male is a great one. They have the Popeye Eau Fresh or the Le Male Eau Fresh. They have a lot of great new flankers being released all the time that I would say, hey, maybe go for those instead. But there's still no denying the original Le Male. This guy's a bestseller. Up next, this one here is pretty cool, and it didn't really surprise me to see it rank pretty high up on the bestsellers page. This one's Nautica Voyage. You guys know I've talked this fragrance so much because I truly do think it's a great scent. And again, no surprise to me that this one is pretty high ranking on the bestsellers page. It's a great smelling scent. It's like a $10 to $15 designer fragrance for 100 ml, and it smells great for summertime. The quality that you get for this one for the price is insane. You don't get that often. There are some fragrances in the $30+ range that honestly don't smell quite as good as Nautica Voyage. It's a fantastic scent that everyone should have in their collection, hands down. And well, do I think this one's still worth picking up in 2020? Absolutely. There's been flankers as well, but in my opinion, this one still outshines all of the other flankers. It smells good. It smells clean and fresh, and it's a great one for summer at an incredibly low price. This one has also had its talk of reformulation. They changed from metal cap to a plastic press fit cap like this one. Previously, it was a metal cap which clicked into place, so there was talk about reformulation. I do have an old metal cap bottle and a newer plastic cap press fit style bottle, like this. And well, it still performs great on my skin. No real issues with performance difference between those two, so it's nothing to worry about. So following that, we actually have another Nautica fragrance. Two of them back to back here. That's just kind of how it happened to work out this time. This one is Nautica Blue. I mean, is this a classic or what? This guy's been out for a long time now. Again, no surprise that it is pretty high on the bestsellers page. What do I think about this one? I think it's a great, clean, fresh scent. And if you want a fresh out of the shower gel clean smell, like legitimately this smells like a body wash, then this is a great fragrance for you. But do keep in mind, Smells like a body wash, smells very clean, very fresh. Nothing groundbreaking here, nothing that's going to really work you up. So that's just something to keep in mind, but it's such a clean, fresh scent, and it's a very wearable one, very affordable as well. I can see why it's popular. My opinion, go for Nautica Voyage or something else. Again, it's cheap, so if you want to pick it up, you can pick it up. It's not going to do any harm. You can use it just around the house or whatever, but I do think there are better options out there, not only from Nautica, but just from other designer brands as well. Regardless, I understand why it's up so high, and it's a pleasant smelling scent. Moving along, we have the original Armani Code. Of course, this guy had to be in here. Giorgio Armani, the brand, has made a lot of hits, a lot of successful fragrances, and the original Armani Code started a ton of fantastic flankers. You guys know my thoughts on a few of their more popular Armani Code flankers. Armani Code Profumo and Armani Code Absolute, two of my favorites, all came from this guy. It all started right here. It smells pretty nice still. You've probably smelled it somewhere at some point. That's just how it works. In my opinion, with this one, again, I would say Armani Code Profumo, Armani Code Absolute, Armani Code Colonia, even Armani Code A-List would be better options to go with than the original at this point. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. In my opinion, the flankers just have taken this DNA and perfected it, and they've made it a bit more up to date, and it's just kind of more appealing now than this was when it first came out. Still smells great. It's a great scent, but I do think the new flankers are better. Moving along, we have Mont Blanc Legend Spirits. This one primarily got super popular because of its comparison to Invictus Aqua 2016. When that one got discontinued, this fragrance shot off. Everyone just wanting to get it because, well, apparently it smelled like Invictus Aqua. And I can tell you, yeah, it does smell like Invictus Aqua, but it has its own different twist on it as well. A bit more of a clean linens type of smell, especially in the dry down, that you don't quite get the same way with the original Invictus Aqua. But this does still have kind of the fruitiness, the bubblegummy youthfulness, that playful type of smell that Invictus Aqua is known for. So yeah, it's pretty close to Invictus Aqua. Do I think this one's still worth picking up? For an affordable Invictus Aqua alternative, I say go for it. Again, in the $25 to $30 range, whatever these Mont Blanc Legend Spirits go for, it's worth it. If you like Invictus Aqua, a great summer fragrance with decent performance and, well, overall, not a bad smell. Moving up here, we have Acqua di Gio Profumo. You guys know it. This one had to be in here, and surprisingly wasn't as high up as I thought it was going to be. I don't know if this one has started to drop off or what, but there was a point where this thing was just getting pumped all the time. You guys know it was one of my personal favorites at some point, so maybe some other fragrances have exceeded the number of sales on, FragranceNet and then pushed this down or what, but I would have thought this would have been up higher, but it wasn't. Again, just going off FragranceNet, sorted by the most popular orders, that's what I did to get, Acqua di Gio Profumo at the ranking that it is. Could be sold more than the other ones. Who knows? I'm just going off of the information that I have access to, and you guys have access to the same thing. Regardless of that, in my opinion, better to get than the original Acqua di Gio, and really just one of the best flankers from the line, period. Get this one or get Profondo. These are two of the best from the line, and they're fantastic. Up next, we have Prada Carbon. So a little bit surprised to see this one up so high too. I gotta be honest. Again, this one, the reason why it's gonna be up where it is because of the comparisons to Dior Sauvage. And yes, the comparison to Dior Sauvage is strong. You can tell immediately when you spray this one that, yeah, it's got a Dior Sauvage type of smell, but a bit more smooth and well-rounded and a little bit creamy as well. It's actually been a while since I've smelled Carbon. I just, I don't really reach for Sauvage, and I don't really reach for any of its, fragrances that smell similar to it, Carbon being one of them. But spraying it up in the air reminded me that this does smell really nice, and I do see why it was so successful. It's a great smelling scent, a nice twist on Sauvage. It's a compliment monster of a fragrance with pretty good performance and great product quality. Do I think this one's worth getting? I think if you want an affordable alternative to Dior Sauvage, I would say go for it. It still smells good. Now, recommending Dior Sauvage at this point is what it is. That's going to be your opinion here. So if you are after something that is going to be unique from something like Prada, this isn't the move to go. But again, if all you're after is a smoother, more well-rounded version of Sauvage at a more affordable price, Carbon wouldn't be a bad purchase. Moving up, we have a fragrance from Yves Saint Laurent. This one is Nuit The L'Homme. Of course, you guys know somewhere in the bestsellers this one was going to show up. And here it is. Look, to be honest with you, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Has it been talked about and hyped up? Yeah, of course it has. But at the end of the day, this is still a fragrance that just smells incredible. It smells unique. Sure, there's been stuff that has copied it and kind of alluded to it. There's, obviously been straight up clones kind of targeting the older batches and all that type of stuff. You guys know the drill. But this was ahead of its... But this really, when the time it was released, was like nothing else. And to me, it still is very much different than everything else. It's an oriental, spicy, warm, sweet scent. It's one of my personal favorites. I have multiple bottles of it in some of the older batches, and it's just one that I enjoy for myself. Sure, it gets hyped. Sure, it's probably worn a lot now, but it's just a really, really good smell. And for that, is it still worth picking up now? I say yes. We've had flankers, the new Nuit The L'Homme EDP, Nuit The L'Homme Parfum, Nuit Eau Electrique, so on and so forth. You guys know the flankers. I'll be honest with you, none of those as good as this one. That's just my opinion. I think the Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme and Nuit The L'Homme line of flankers has been going downhill with, the new Cologne Blue and the L'Homme Le Parfum. It's just, I don't know. We haven't had anything as good, in my opinion, as the original L'Homme and the original Nuit The L'Homme. Everything else has just been going down low. Their only really, really good one, in my opinion, was L'Homme Ultime, and that one is now being discontinued. So I think, Nuit The L'Homme, if you want to get into this line, this is the best one to get, even now in 2020. It's a beautiful scent. Moving along, we have Terre de Hermes Eau de Toilette. Of course, you guys know Terre de Hermes. It's got that popular orange vetiver combination that it's known for. People say it smells like a dirty orange, like a dirty earthy orange, and I see where that's coming from. It's definitely a clean office scent for a masculine guy who typically dresses up. This isn't going to be anything young and playful. This is going to be something for someone who wants to be taken seriously. That's what Terre de Hermes does. It's got a very classy type of smell to it. The bottle and even the name is really a good indication of that. I mean, it's just overall a classy looking presentation, and the scent matches that. Do I think this one's still worth picking up in 2020? I say yes. If you're into this sort of thing, still a great scent. You have a couple flankers, the Parfum, Eau Intense Vetiver, Eau Très Fraîche, all great. But the original EDT shouldn't be overshadowed either. Still a great scent, especially for the guy who wants to be taken seriously, especially in like a work environment, and wants a good, high quality, nice office type of scent. This is a great one. Moving along, we have Versace Eros Flame. Of course, this guy's working its way up the ranks too. The original Versace Eros obviously was featured in the first video here. That one's pretty high up the ranks. Eros Flame, the flanker here, is starting to work its way up as well. Like I mentioned, it smells nice. It's still that Eros DNA, but just with a little bit more of an aromatic, different twist on it. You get a nice orange note in the opening, which does smell good. It's a nice combination that you see a lot now. Orange with some tonka bean sweetness, that sort of thing. You get it here. Overall, it's a nice scent. Do I think it's worth picking up? I mean, it's pretty new still. It's not like an old release like some of these. But yeah, I think if you like Eros and you want a little bit of a different twist on it, this one isn't a bad purchase. Moving along, we have Dolce & Gabbana The One EDP. So again, the EDT was up high and featured in the first video. Now it's the EDP's time to shine. Put it simply here, because I've talked about this on the channel probably like 100 times at this point. Do I think it's still worth picking up? Absolutely. It's a timeless, classic DNA. Masculine, smells great, just a work of art really. Dolce & Gabbana The One EDP, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Moving along, we have Azzaro Wanted by Night. So the flanker here, Azzaro Wanted by Night, has made its way up pretty high. And I have to say, I'm glad it did, because it does smell good. 100% better than the original Wanted. Not a fan of that one. I am a big fan of Wanted by Night. The cinnamon, spicy warmth that you get in addition to that Azzaro Wanted DNA here with this one is incredible. It smells great. It's a good fall and winter scent. And again, while it may not be the most unique thing still, it definitely really steps it up here. And in my opinion, it's a great flanker. Definitely overshadows the original. And yes, I still do think this one is worth picking up in 2020. Moving along, we have Prada L'Homme. Of course, you guys know it. This guy, is popular for a reason. It's been hyped up. It's the quintessential soapy iris fragrance for the office. No other way to put it. It's clean and fresh, smells great. Again, for the more mature guy, for someone who wants to be taken seriously and wants to smell professional, kind of like Terre de Hermes, 100% worth of purchase for that. There's flankers, but the original is still great as well. And again, ironically, right after this one, we have another L'Homme fragrance. I already touched on it a minute ago. That is Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme. Like I said, guys, this L'Homme and La Nuit de L'Homme, two of the best from the, the L'Homme line and La Nuit de L'Homme line, period. Of course, they both started it, and again, since then, nothing else has come out and touched these. And in my opinion, these are honestly two of the best from Yves Saint Laurent as well. I know that's kind of a stretch because they've released a lot of great fragrances, especially when Tom Ford was creative director. We got M7 and Rive Gauche and all of those, and so, there's a lot of great scents from Yves Saint Laurent. I'm not discrediting that. I love those fragrances as well, but I do think something like L'Homme and La Nuit are really two of the best. They're definitely up there and being great fragrances. And again, we've never had any other flankers touch them. Even though L'Homme is considered to be old and played out, it's still a timeless DNA. It smells like a gentleman, and in my opinion, still worth having around. And finally, last up, we have 1 Million Lucky. This one, as you know, is kind of a fruity, sweet take on 1 Million. It's got plum and honey and stuff, but with a nice fruitiness, a bit of a weird nutty type of thing going on in there as well, as you'll come to find when you look at Fragrantica. It smells good. It does smell nice. And again, it's made its way up. I think it's a nice flanker. Do I think it's better than something like 1 Million Privé? I personally don't. That's my favorite. But again, it's a great one over the original. And in my opinion, if you're into stuff like this, it's worth picking up as well. So guys, that was going to do it for me. That was my thoughts on the current best-selling men's designer fragrances, part 2. Again, this was continued from the first video. You guys wanted to see a second one, so a few months later, I finally brought it to you guys. And maybe at some point, if you want to see me continue this again and I can keep going down, I can do that, because again, there's still more bestsellers out there, plenty of them, and more are going to be moving up as time goes on anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you thought it was kind of entertaining and cool to hear my thoughts on a lot of these classic releases, although some newer than others. You get the point. And again, I do want to point your attention to the description. If you want to pick any of these up, check any of these out, I will provide links down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.